This is The Accursed King, Book 4 of the Plantagenet Legacy, by Mercedes Rochelle. Narrated by Kevin E. Green. Chapter 1. 23rd of July, 1403. The axe fell with a solid thud, cleanly severing the head of Sir Thomas Percy. King Henry IV watched the execution from the castle ramparts with tears in his eyes. It was just 2 days since the Battle of Shrewsbury, where another Percy, the famous Harry Hotspur, went down under a flurry of blades. His naked body was now propped up between 2 millstones near the city gate, having been unceremoniously torn from his temporary grave to thwart rumours of his survival. Henry had refused to look at him, certain that Harry's staring eyes would condemn him even in death. They had been friends once, a circumstance that made this whole situation more tragic than he wanted to admit. And Thomas, whose deportment had been flawless up until a week ago, disturbed him even more. Henry had done his best to save his life, but his closest advisers flew into a fury, calling the man a traitor and worse. The best he could do was commute the execution to mere decapitation, rather than the full penalty, hanging, drawing, and quartering. This whole bloody rebellion caught the king totally by surprise, and he mourned the loss of his valiant enemies more than they deserved. What had he done to merit their rancour? Surely they had their disagreements, but nothing so venomous as to warrant an attack on his throne. And what about Hotspur's father, the Earl of Northumberland? If he had been present, the outcome of the battle would have been much less certain. It was a terribly close call. Only Hotspur's death determined who had won the day. Where was the Earl, and why hadn't he shown up? Henry shook his head. He would think about that later. For now he had more important things to worry about. His son and heir had been struck in the face by an arrow, and had continued fighting until the end of the battle. Only then had he collapsed into the arms of his friends. The royal surgeons, confounded by the injury, professed themselves incapable of extracting the arrowhead from the base of Hal's skull, behind the cheek. In desperation, Henry had sent a messenger to London, ordering the famous surgeon and metal worker John Bradmore to be released from prison. The man had been caught counterfeiting, of all things. Then Bradmore would be brought to Kenilworth, where Hal would be waiting for him, if he survived the trip. Unfortunately, Henry didn't have the leisure to sit by his son's side and wait for him to live or die. With Henry Percy on the loose, the rebellion still had a chance to succeed.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?